All right, Rob, last night, a lot of great things going on. Golden State, I mean, just when you thought they were done, and they still may very well be, but they put on a great effort last night, beat the Boston Celtics that many people have favored to at least win the Eastern Conference Championship.
That's me.
Not the whole thing.
That's me. I'm in that group.
Yeah, a lot of people like them, and with good reason. They look great. But Golden State took them out yesterday in overtime, and Steph Curry led the way. 33 points, was fantastic. Hit the huge shot in overtime to kind of seal the victory with 12 seconds left. And he was so good, Rob, that he sparked a huge discussion because Shaquille O'Neal was just throwing out the accolades after the game on TNT, which it was televised on TNT. And here's Shaq on Inside the NBA.
I'm wondering, not saying, I'm just wondering, because he's been consistently the best shooter his whole career. I'm wondering, is it time to start putting him as the best player of all time?
Best player? Over, you put him over you?
In the conversation.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
You put him over you. You yourself put Steph Curry over you.
Yeah, this is why he's my favorite player. Cause
I'm not saying favorite. He might be my favorite too, but I'm just asking you think he's better than you.
I played 20 years, watched 20 years before that. I've never seen a guy like him. And he's doing it consistently, and he has championships.
You put him over Michael.
No, I'm not putting him anywhere. I'm saying,
okay,
for all the chitter chatter, is it time to just put him in the conversation?
I think he's a.
I'm asking the fans, is it time to start putting him in the conversation as one of the best players ever?
All right, you heard it. I mean, that's Shaquille O'Neal, one of the best players ever. And he asked, Rob, is it time to put Steph Curry in the GOAT discussion? Your thoughts?
Preposterous, ridiculous, typical prisoner of the moment, former athlete throwing something up against the wall. And that's no disrespect to Steph and his resume and what he's done. But Chris, off of a regular season game, for Shaq to throw that out because they beat Boston on a Tuesday night in December as some crowning moment that something happened last night that we never saw, that's the time to put him in the conversation. I just think it's preposterous. I think it tells you how little thought that some people will give, even the guy who's played the game and has done as much as Shaq has done, to these statements. This is what we talk about all the time. I love Kenny Smith, that he right away put Shaq on the spot. Is he better than you? Is he better than Michael? You know what I mean? Because when you make a statement like that, it just doesn't make sense to me. Off of what? What happened last night, Chris, that we haven't seen in Steph's career, that last night that was the conversation? Do you understand? We talk about it all the time when we do our show. We always ask ourselves, why are we talking about it today? Right? That matters, Chris, right? We do it all the time. Why are we talking about it today? If it doesn't matter for what's happened today, then we shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it could have happened after Steph's last. In fact, Rob, it did happen. Not this. Shaq is the first to go this far. Like after Steph won his 4th championship, I said he's a top 10 player of all time.
That's a totally different conversation. And that's fair, Chris, based on he had just won the 4th championship. So it was based on him doing something to add to his resume, correct?
Right.
Okay.
But even, I mean, I think I agree with you, is kind of like, okay, yeah, he was phenomenal last night, but it was just a regular season game. And obviously he's had plenty of those. And, okay, so they beat the Boston Celtics. Okay, big whoop.
On a Tuesday
now, all of a
night.
sudden, you're one of the greatest ever. But the fact, Rob, regardless of the timing, if right the day after they won their 4th championship, if Shaq had said what he said last night, I think he still would get pushed back. And, obviously I love Steph. I think he is the best small player, the best below the rim player ever. And I will say this, I hadn't really thought of it this way, but I was talking with Nick Wright about it off the air during First Things First today. And he said, he kind of threw it out there, best player under 6'6" ever, right? And I thought about it, and yes, I think that's absolute. He is the best player ever under 6'6". Kobe, Michael, LeBron, all those guys were 6'6" or taller. And so I think that. But Rob, as great as Steph is, 4 championships, widely regarded as the best shooter ever, the orchestrator of one of the best dynasties ever, absolutely, positively changed the game of basketball. Like it is played differently now because of him. All of that, true. No, he is not in the GOAT conversation. And Rob, Kenny Smith said last night, the GOAT conversation is limited to 3 people: Jordan, LeBron, and Kareem.
I agree with that.
I
Those
agree.
are the only 3
if
people
somebody
that
wants
really.
to throw Magic in, I've heard some people throw out arguments for Magic. I got him as the 4th best ever. I wouldn't put him in the GOAT conversation, but I guess, if somebody wanted to say he could play every position and dominate at all 5 spots, I mean, we can have that discussion. But I generally agree with Kenny Smith is limited to 3, and Steph's not one of them.
I'm with you. And I mean, as great as Steph's resume is, there's some other spots there too that there are some blemishes. This is the 3-1 choke job with the Warriors. That's on there. Hasn't made a shot to put his team ahead or win the game in the postseason, Chris, with 20 seconds or left to go, 0 for 10 or 11 or whatever it is. There's some other things, and that's just nitpicking when you're talking about the greatest of all time. I just don't think that that's a conversation that he's in. And maybe
Would
he
you
can
agree that with that statement I made, best player ever under 6'6"? I'm talking about Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I'm
Jerry
an Isaiah
West,
guy, and
Dwayne
Isaiah
Wade.
during the time when he played and him beating Bird and him beating Magic and Michael, like what he was able to do without another top 50 all-time great player is a pretty amazing accomplishment in that NBA. It's hard for me to look past Isaiah.
Isaiah Thomas over Steph Curry.
Yeah, I'm just talking about because I look at everything. I don't look at just making threes. I look at
Steph does more than make threes.
Being able to win, the performances he put in, beating 3 of the greatest players like during that era, during that time, without the people always talk about the help and LeBron needs help and Durant needs help and had to go get help, and Steph needed to go get Durant to beat LeBron and all that.
He beat LeBron without Durant.
No, but I'm just saying. But after they lost 3-1, they went and got him to win the next 2 championships.
He won another one without Durant.
Right, but he won those 2. But there's a big difference between the 2 that he won, Chris, and if he has 4. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but he got 4.
No, but I'm asking. You:
is
it a difference between
he won
2 and
2
4?
without the help that you're saying? He won 2 without another top 50 teammate, which is what you're saying.
No,
in fact, he won 2 without another top 75 teammate. Isaiah had 2 top 75 players on his championship teams.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about.
I mean, if that was your argument,
no, because it wasn't. He didn't play when he was Kabir. He didn't have anybody in the top 50 because there was nobody who could be put on that list at that time. So that's
which
not
one are you talking about now?
The top 50 list. He wasn't playing.
No, who are you talking about? Isaiah or Steph?
No, I'm talking about Steph. You're saying he didn't have a top 75.
Right. They could have been on the top 75.
50's less than 75. Would you agree with that?
Right. But my point is, right. But
Okay.
Isaiah won 2 championships. He had on each of those championship teams, he had a top 75 teammate in Dennis Rodman.
He didn't have a top 50. He didn't have a top 50.
No, but neither did Steph. Steph won 2 championships without a top 50. I get it. It wasn't possible because it was voted
right,
before
that's what
he got
I'm saying.
the league. But Steph didn't even have a top 75.
Yeah, but here's my thing. It's not a top 75. It's a top 25 of his era because they added 25.
No, it's a top 75.
No, because
it's
you
an
couldn't.
official top 75.
Those
team.
guys on his team couldn't be in the top 50. So
But they could be in the top 75.
They could be added to the 25.
And he had none of them that were added.
That's fine, but I'm saying the difference between Steph
you just trying
is
to talk
2
around it now.
championships compared to 4 put you on a different platform.
Yeah,
that's
but
all,
he's
that's
got
all I'm making.
4. I'm not going to punish him because Kevin Durant was on his team.
No, I'm just saying that for some people, they look at it and say, well, of course he won.
I don't know that there's hardly any. I'd be surprised if anybody right now has Isaiah Thomas ahead of Steph Curry. Your turn to weigh in. Is Steph Curry in the GOAT debate? Or if you, that seems pretty obvious. I'd be shocked if somebody says he is, but is he the best player under 6'6" ever? If you got thoughts on that too. Your turn to weigh in. Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Josh in Arizona, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Josh?
How y'all boys doing? Happy holidays. Appreciate y'all for letting me in.
You too.
Yep. You too, man.
Okay, I think we are always prisoners of the moment. Steph Curry is clearly not the GOAT. And I don't even think he's the best point guard that ever played. You know, I can name a few point guards better than him at the actual position because I don't even see him as a point guard. And that's not no knock to
What
Steph
point guards are better than him?
Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, and Magic Johnson. And I'll even go just for point guards. I'm not saying he's a better player, but I'll go John Stockton.
So you put Steph at the 2?
He's a 2. He literally crossed.
See, I think he's a point. I mean, I get it. He plays differently. LeBron is a small forward, even though he's played point the bulk of his career. Draymond Green is a power forward, even though he played a lot of point guard and small for I hear James Harden's going to go down as a 2 guard, but he's played the point guard the last several years of his career. You know, when he blew up in Houston, he was playing point. So, where would you have Steph if you got him as a 2?
Where would I have him, like on top 10 or something like that?
Like behind 2 guards. What 2 guards would you have in front of him?
That's currently playing?
Nah, just period.
Oh, serious?
Historically.
Kobe
Jordan. Who else? That's it?
I would go Allen Iverson.
Better than Steph?
At the 2? Scoring the ball, yeah. Because what I want, because individually, 1-on-1.
Well, we're not talking about a game of 1-on-1. Kyrie Irving might be able to beat Steph in a game of 1-on-1.
No. What I'm saying is individually when he has the ball, where Allen Iverson's not going off 1,000 screens and waiting for somebody to pass.
But that's not the definition of a 2 guard. Isolation scoring. I mean, Steph scored way more efficiently than Iverson ever thought about scoring.
That's true, but it's an element to the shooting guard position where you can be able to do it on your own without the screens. Not that Steph.
I think Steph got a better handle than Iverson too, so he can create his own shot. But we gotta get.
Hey, Josh, what'd you make of Shaq with this prisoner of the moment? Just coming out off of a game Tuesday night.
Honestly, I think he just be trying to make ratings for the show at this point. Like, come on, man. We gonna make him the GOAT now. I think he has to.
Well, he just said he's in the conversation, which still is crazy.
He's not even in the conversation.
Right,
That's
right.
ridiculous. You know, he has to do way more for his career to even think about it.
He's not getting
Appreciate
in the
that.
conversation.
Yeah, he's not going to be in that conversation. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Mark in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mark?
What's going on, guys? Rob G again, and let me break the rules on this one. My head exploded when I heard Shaq say that. No, he ain't. and no, he's not better.
I don't think anybody agreed with Shaq other than maybe Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq says stuff sometimes for a fact. And I think this was one of those things. You just know. Well, I personally think that Isaiah's better than him. Isaiah's a more complete player than him. Isaiah, like you say, Rob, he went through Jordan, Bird, and Magic in the same year. Yeah. Tell me somebody else who did that. And
hold on, but Steph went through LeBron, Durant, a bunch of great players. Tim Duncan.
That ain't Jordan.
Jordan's the only one you talking about. That ain't Jordan. He went through a bunch of other guys.
That ain't Bird, Jordan.
And he won twice as much as Isaiah.
It's unbelievable, right? I'm with you, Mark.
Come on. They played a different game, Chris. They played a different game.
It's basketball. We got to compare it. And you're right. It's different, but it's still basketball.
Physical basketball, Chris.
Right.
Physical basketball. Different game. Different game.
That's like me holding the fact that Isaiah didn't shoot it like these point guards today against him. It was a different game. We adjust our thinking when we evaluate them. But that's fair. Just your opinion.
Can we squeeze in John real quick in Massachusetts? John, you got 1 minute. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Fellas, what happens, and again, happy holidays. What happens, guys, is
too.
that we have so polarizing opinions on Steph, like people overrate him wildly or underrate him wildly. I think he and Shaq are in the debate of who is the 10th greatest player ever. I go LeBron, Jordan, Russell, Kareem. Then you got Wilt, Magic, Bird, Duncan, Kobe. I think they're all better than Shaq or Steph Curry. That's the debate. Steph or Shaq is the 10th greatest player ever. And to your point, Chris, absolutely the greatest player under 6'6". I mean, I don't even think there's a debate on that. Maybe you put Jerry West in that conversation. But it does happen with Steph Curry. People go overboard with him, and then they underrate him, like people saying that Isaiah Thomas is better or John Stockton, which to me is ludicrous.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I mean,
I don't think
without the individual, just I don't think he is overrated or underrated by a lot.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people and it depends on what's happening. You know what I mean? If he makes a big shot, then he's the greatest thing who ever shot the basketball. If he doesn't, he came up small again. You know what I mean? It just depends on what
I don't think that many people are saying he comes up small.
Oh yeah, I've seen plenty of videos. Go online.
Oh no, he's missed
plenty
big
of videos.
Shots. What was I'm just saying,
there's plenty of videos.
Hit in the,
there's plenty of videos. No, Isaiah is not the greatest shooter of all time. Was yet to make a big shot.
Basket.
There's a big difference.
You got one. You got one off the top of your head.
There's a big difference.
It could be a layup.
Said it. I never said that he's
a scorer. He was a scorer.
Right. But I'm talking about Steph being the greatest shooter, but nobody – I don't know how many times I've talked to NBA players. Who do you want you need a basket. Who do you give the ball to? Nobody picks Steph. How are you the greatest shooter?
I've heard plenty of people
I haven't – nobody I've ever talked to.